How's everybody tonight? I hope we're all doing well. It's been a kind of a crazy day for me today. I've been dealing with a little sinus headache, so hopefully I can get through this tonight with no issues. I know that everybody out received a lot of emails concerning the figure in the Suzanne Morphew case, the guy on the bicycle with the wig and the hat and the sunglasses and the COVID mask, about who they suspect this guy is, from Trevor to possibly Suzanne herself. But I don't think that is the case. It does look like a man to me in the picture. I'm not sure about Trevor. I want y'all to look at something. Go back and look at the pictures of him, his friend, and Barry, and see if you can see the nose is protruding out of the mask, and it just gives me some, I looked at it, but I want y'all to go and pull those pictures and look at them and tell me on Friday what you think, who it is. We're not going to discuss this tonight in detail. We will discuss anything you want to discuss, but I want to bring up two missing people. The first one is a gentleman out of Kansas, independent Kansas. He went missing just out of the blue. He had contacted his girlfriend, which is the mother of his child, and they were not together, and basically said, "Hey, I'm running out of minutes on this phone. I'm fixing to get me another phone." A lot of people do that. They don't use one carrier. They just buy a phone for a month or two and use that. And as soon as they use out of minutes, they don't, for whatever reason, they don't get it refilled. They may just switch to another carrier, another phone. But he was supposed to go to work for either UPS or FedEx. Had a pretty good job coming up, and this is him and with his two children by his girlfriend, wife at one time, whatever. Really nice guy. They say he's a very trusting guy. His name is Derrick Foster, and here's with his daughters. Here is his missing poster. He went missing in April this year, April 12th. He's 37 years old, 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. April the 12th. Now, unfortunately, the police are considering this to be a homicide. They don't give much hope of finding this guy alive. Kansas City Bureau of Investigation Independence Police announced Wednesday that a governor's reward leading to the location was $5,000. He reported missing May the 12th. Last seen around April the 12th in Independence. KBI, the police said, unfortunately, that some information they have gathered believes that he is a victim of a homicide. However, if somebody knows where this guy is, maybe he's not a victim of a homicide. If somebody knows where he is or even saw him out or saw him with other people, they need to contact the Independent Police Department at 620-332-1700. I'm sorry for my dog there, and she's got what they call a backward sneeze. Or they can call 1-800-KS-CRIME for Kansas City Crime if they see this guy. I want you to take another look at the poster, not say wanted poster, but missing poster. He seemed to be a really super nice guy, and really hate to see something like this, occur where he is missing. The next one we want to look at, and then we'll discuss anything y'all want to talk about at the end of this. The next one we want to talk about is a girl out of Coral Gables, Florida, or I think it's Coral Gables. It says this is Paul, his daughter. This is Paul Dumolo learned about his daughter's disappearance on June the 19th, and from her boyfriend, which is we got a tape of him, his phone call with a reporter, and it's just freaky. It really is. How he says it. He basically says he reports her missing, and then says, and I believe something wrong. Not that I did anything wrong. I thought it was really, really weird. This is her family, her father, her mother, and the two, I guess, either grandchildren or possibly sisters and brothers. Really didn't say. This is her Lauren Brittany Dumolo or Dumolo. I can't pronounce. I'm terrible at pronouncing. She went missing on June the 24th, 2020, from her home. Her phone was left inside her home. However, in a nearby park, they found her wallet, and they had searched the park really good. But like 2 days later, her sister went to there and looked around and found her shirt. So I don't know if the search missed it or it was planted there to throw everybody off. But she was last seen wearing a T-shirt and shoes. That's it. And she was home at her apartment. Her boyfriend does have a past arrest record, and it has one domestic assault charge on there and some failure to pay child support, that sort of thing. I'm going to play a couple of these videos that tell a little bit about this, her missing case.
We are continuing our coverage of a missing woman. 29-year-old Lauren Dumolo was last seen on June 19th. Tonight, a lot of people in the Southwest Florida community coming together, searching for answers or at least some clues. 4 in Your Corner's Miana Massey speaking with volunteers at today's search.
Her daughter was born day before my son, and so they're both 5, and I just couldn't imagine him losing his mom, so I just really felt this this connection with her.
Danielle Langevin and dozens of others came out to Four Freedoms Park to search for clues in the disappearance of 29-year-old Lauren Dumolo. Southwest Florida Helping Hands coordinated today's search efforts, dividing people to search surrounding locations where Dumolo was last seen on June 19th.
It's been 2 weeks. People are forgetting already, and we want to keep her picture in their face.
They have been knocking on doors, posting flyers, searching for any clues to bring Lauren home.
The way that cases like this are going to be resolved is because people talk, and the more they talk, the more information we find out.
Police say she was last seen at her Cape Coral apartment, where they also found her phone. That same day, her purse was found at Four Freedoms Park. The community now desperate for answers.
Something will trigger a memory, even if it's small, and that little piece of information is just part of the big puzzle.
Last week, the family found a shirt at Four Freedoms Park that they believe belongs to Lauren.
If this was my daughter, I would want someone to help.
Dumolo's sister keeping hope alive, thankful to see the outpouring of community support.
Just, people from the community are coming out and reaching out and donating their time and volunteering their time to us, and I'm just so grateful for it.
The family is urging anyone with information on Lauren's disappearance to please contact the Cape Coral Police Department. In Cape Coral, Miana Massey, Fox 4, in your corner.
This man was...
See, it's just a weird disappearance, and unfortunately, this girl in this situation, it's going to take somebody that knows something about it to just pick up the phone and call. And I don't know if it's a weird disappearance. She didn't have her phone with her when she left her apartment, and she left it there at her apartment, which is very weird. Everybody carries their phone with them just about everywhere they go. I am one of those people that do not, because I'm usually around my wife and she's got hers, and I carried a phone, a pager, and a bunch of other stuff for all those years, and I just got tired of it, so nobody calls me anyway, so they call my wife. So I hardly ever carry my phone with me, but I guess I need to start doing it. I'm going to play one more video here, and then I'll play the boyfriend's video.
The search continues for a missing Cape Coral woman. Family, friends, even volunteers are searching near Four Freedoms Park a few times a week, and they found some evidence to help police. But Fox 4's Rachel Lloyd's learning that those clues are leading to more questions than answers. Rachel?
Southwest Florida Crime Stoppers say they haven't gotten many tips in this case. And a private investigator I spoke with, not related to the case, says the clues that they do have are questionable. 29-year-old Lauren Dumolo was last seen June 19th. Earlier this week, community members searched for her around Four Freedoms Park, about half a mile away from her Cape Coral home where she was last seen. Her purse was found at the park the day she went missing and her cell phone located at her apartment. But it wasn't until last week when her sister found a shirt that belongs to her in the sand at Four Freedoms.
That area was thoroughly searched days before, and the shirt just turns up right there on the sand.
That clue perplexes private investigator Walt Zalisco, questioning whether or not the shirt was planted and the crime scene is actually somewhere else. Plants or not, he says the detectives on this case have a lot to work with.
What they have to look at the shirt to see if there was any tears. You know, was it forcefully removed from her?
Or was there blood on it? Cape Coral Police says divers have searched for Dumolo in the water near the park, not yielding much more evidence. And Trish Rout with Southwest Florida Crime Stoppers says they haven't received a lot of tips on her disappearance either.
But that doesn't mean that the information's not out there, because it absolutely is.
Someone from Marco Island has donated an extra $5,000 to help find Dumolo, bringing the reward to up to $8,000.
If you've seen her, if you've heard from her, if you know anything about what could have happened to Lauren, we absolutely, positively need to hear from you now.
And the next community search for Lauren is scheduled for Saturday on Coronado Parkway in Cape Coral. Rachel Lloyd, Fox 4 in your corner.
Thanks, Rachel. So if you've seen Lauren Dumolo within the last month, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers again. And she has a large tattoo, the word namaste, on one of her sides. Family and friends say that she does not have a car, so you may have seen her walking in Southeast Cape Coral.
I don't think they're going to see her walking. Unfortunately, it could have, it very well could have been a domestic where someone went to rage and something happened. After you listen to this guy's voice and listen to what he says, it's kind of strange. It really is. I want you to listen. I hate to play this back-to-back recordings like this, but I do want to. Does anybody got any questions first before I do that?
No. Wisdom said that when he was in Boston, or she was, I don't know, I think it may be a she. Anyway, was in Boston. He knew an Angela Dumolo, and he said she looks a lot like that girl. Or I can't tell if Wisdom's a boy or a girl, so I'm sorry.
Let me let you hear this video, and I want to know what y'all think about it.
It's been 3 weeks since this Cape Coral mother was last seen. The last person to see her was her boyfriend, who spoke exclusively with us tonight.
I don't think so. She let me know because she would have taken at least some clothes, and her toothbrush or her makeup.
Wake News reporter Danielle Garcia talked with Gabriel Pena late this afternoon and joins us now live from Four Freedoms Park in Cape Coral. Danielle.
Chris, Gabriel Pena told me that police brought him in to take a polygraph test, and he said he passed. But now police won't confirm the test or the results or say whether he is a suspect in Lauren Dumolo's disappearance. But now her picture is posted here at Four Freedoms Park because this is where detectives found her purse, and that was 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks since Lauren Dumolo's family has been able to tell her they love her. 3 weeks since anyone's been able to hug her. The last person to see her, Gabriel Pena, her boyfriend of 4 years.
I'm worried. I'm worried and scared. I'm not scared because I ain't doing anything, but I'm just worried that something really did happen.
But you don't think she just left on her own now, do you?
I don't think so. She let me know because she would have taken at least some clothes, and her toothbrush or her makeup.
Pena told me he last saw her on Friday morning when he left for work. When he got home, Dumolo was gone.
So my thing is she went out with one of her friends. Her friend got her all messed up and drug, and I don't know what, after that, I don't know what happened.
Police called Dumolo's disappearance suspicious. Crime Stoppers is getting tips, but no big lead.
Now, he said in one of the interviews I saw that he supposedly took a polygraph and passed it, but police will not confirm that he took a polygraph. So we know ourselves from this past investigation that we are still following that somebody says they took a polygraph and they really didn't take a polygraph. So, you know, I wish the police would come out and say yay or nay. But the father was interviewed too, and one interview that I have and he never named the suspect, but I don't know. You know, when you got, and you know, what do you think? The boyfriend said there, you know, I think something happened to her and I'm worried, but no, it's not me. I didn't do nothing to her. It's almost like that. And then he says, maybe she went with some friends. They gave her some drugs and she, you know, died or something. But, you know, who leaves their house without their phone? That's one thing other than me. And who,
how long ago did she go missing?
She was missing, let's see, I pull this up. I think it's like in, let me get the exact, June 24th of this year. So it's not that long ago, but still the summer. Basically, she's been gone the whole summer. So, you know, the longer you're gone without being seen, the more likely are that you are deceased. Unless maybe they hit their head and they became amnesia and all that. It's just a very perplexing case on this one. You know, if the guy took a polygraph and he passed the polygraph, then I think they are looking in a lot of different directions. If he didn't take a polygraph and he's just saying that, you know, that would bring attention back to him. So I don't know.
Irish says it sounds like Barry M. Part 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought first thing when I started researching it. I thought, this sounds like somebody that we've been looking at. And, you know, I want to say something about that case. You know, we really need to try to look into who this guy on the bicycle was as far as that. Just because they searched these areas doesn't mean that, especially out there at that Longhorn subdivision, it could have been a lot of other areas. That's a big undeveloped area. But I also said that I don't think that he would be doing that on somebody. I mean, doing it where it could be easily found. But it is real weird that this guy was out there in total disguise. I mean, I wish that somebody said, why didn't a police officer stop him? Well, yeah, that's what I'd like to know. Why didn't they stop him and at least talk to him? They may not have been able to get an ID from him, but maybe. I mean, it's just very suspicious. And the fact is that, you know, you have a missing girl and a woman and then somebody's running around in disguise. I mean, and then if nothing else, that is not, I mean, that place is way out there. And you wonder, where did they ride from? You know, did they ride from a car or a truck parked down the road? I mean, why not watch him and find out? And they may already did. They may have known this. They may have actually identified him. So, but that's going to be a big thing because it's obviously somebody was keeping up for the police were digging and what they were doing. Just, you know, but one thing is, and I hear this a lot from people on email and such. Oh, well, we spent way too much time on the Suzanne Morphew case. We spent way too much time. But we cannot leave it alone as far as we can't leave Andy's search alone because the only way, if we don't, as a group of creators on Facebook and YouTube, if we don't keep this thing alive, it will fade away. Just like any other cold case, it will actually fade away and it will be forgotten. It won't be forgotten by Andy. It won't be forgotten by a few people, but it will fade away. People will just move on to the next big case. And if you got to keep it in the limelight, you got to keep the heat on. So the person that is guilty of this, and if I know all of y'all watched profiling evil. And when Andy got on there and he said that after he talked to CBI, FBI, that one person was responsible for that, the missing person, one person. And he knows that one person, and I think a lot of us suspect that one person. But if we don't at least keep reporting something on it and reminding people to keep, I'll probably lose some subs over this, but reminding people to keep Andy in your prayers that they do find her. And, unfortunately, I think it will be, he's resigned himself to think that they are going to find her body, her remains, because anybody after this long, there's only two ways that it would be where she'd be alive. One is she's been abducted and held. Two, she's disappeared on her own. And I don't think that's it, because I don't think she would do that to her brother, her daughters, her father, Somebody have a question?
Mm-hmm. No, Rox had said that in her country they can just stop people and ask them. Too bad they couldn't ask about the guy with the camera and all, but I told her in the United States they can.
You can stop people and talk to them, but unless you have reasonable suspicion, you can't just stop people and ID them for no reason. You got to have a reasonable suspicion. Now, being close to a search site, wearing a total disguise, that may be a little bit, you might be able to at least stop and ID them. If nothing else, I would stop and talk to them, ask them how they were doing, and see in talking to you, then they may identify themselves that way. Or you could follow them back to a vehicle they possibly get in and get their tag number and find out who they are.
Okay, so then I misunderstood, because in her country they can just stop, the police can just stop and ask for an ID and you have to give it to them.
Well, in America, you not have to ID yourself. I mean, only if you have reasonable suspicion that can you ask and be forced somebody to give them ID, and you have probable cause that they committed a crime.
All right. Wisdom asked, do you think the sheriff could be paid off?
No, some people said that the sheriff was corrupt, being paid off. Paid off for what? That's my question. Paid off for what? I don't know. I think that the sheriff, and the reason, their lack of immediate response, it might have been the fact is that a lot of times law enforcement, they look at all these people trying to do their job out there, searchers and everything like that, and they don't, for whatever reason, they don't believe everything that they don't lean on the guys, the amateurs, when they say, I found this or this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain it, but they tend not to be, they consider the ordinary citizen to be reliable in a lot of cases.
Okay. Lori says that Andy and Suzanne grew up in two different households, and she heard that they were not that close. Well, I grew up with 6 brothers, and I'm not as close to some of them as I am the others, but I can guarantee you if my brothers were missing, one of them was missing, we would be hunting day and night for them.
Yeah, exactly. I was an only child, but I'll say this, if my daughters or my son or my wife or my best friend were missing, I would be out there looking for them.
Or your brother-in-law.
Or my brother-in-law, or any of my brother-in-laws. Like I said, she has 6 brothers. With any of my brother-in-laws, even the ones that we don't get along great with, if one of them was missing, I'd still be out there looking for them.
In Belgium, can you be arrested if you don't have your ID on you? You can be arrested if you don't have your ID on you. The police can ask for it at any time. So in Belgium,
in the United States, you don't have to carry ID. You don't have to carry ID. In fact, you do not have to tell the police who you are. Unless you're driving a vehicle on a roadway where you don't have a right to drive, you have you're not required, how can I say this? Driving is a privilege. It's not a requirement. So if you get stopped by the police, when you get a driver's license, you are required to submit that driver's license, proof of insurance, to the police when they ask for it. If you're in a situation where you're walking down the road and say you're carrying a rifle in your hand and you're walking down the road in your open carry state, the police can stop you, but they cannot require you to give up your license because it's one of these quirks in the law.
Was it an electric bike?
Somebody said it was an electric bike. I read that. I don't know if it was or not, but even if it was, and say it had a range of 20 miles on it, that area out there is pretty desolate. I still think if there was me and I was in law enforcement, I could figure out a way to get over there and watch him until they went back to whatever truck or house they had to find out who this person was. I mean, there's other ways to do it. Even, I'm not saying break the law, but, there's nothing wrong with stopping and talking to somebody. And if he don't want to cooperate, that's fine. You can still talk to him.
Do they have a limit as to how far they can dig? Helen wants to know.
Well, they had consent. So the person consented, might said, go ahead and dig. But if you're going to dig over 10 feet, 15 feet, then you're going to need a warrant. I'm like the guy on PE, the Profiling in Evil, what he said they should have got a warrant, period. Because with a warrant, they could go as far as they wanted to go. They could go to 30 feet if they had to. But without a warrant, if you find something, you're going to have to stop and go get a warrant. Because if you don't, your search is going to be questioned. The biggest thing is, if you say they would have found something on that property, they would have had to stop right then and go get a search warrant, even though they had consent. Because seizing evidence on somebody else's property with consent only can be tore up in court. You can beat it in court. So that's why the guy on Profiling even said that. He said he would have got a search warrant and then go in there, and if they seize evidence, everything's covered. Just getting consent, the minute you find something, you need to get a search warrant because consent can be beaten so easily. The guy could say, well, I told him it was okay if you look, but the minute they started digging, I told him stop it. And well, how do you know if he told him stop it or not? Well, he could say he did. I want it in writing. I want a search warrant to be in writing. I want it to be all official, sworn by a judge. Yeah, he can search it. I agree with them 100% on that. They should have got a search warrant on every single dig, not just the warrant, not just consent, because consent guy could have told him, you can dig there, but you can't dig over there, or don't dig more than 10 feet here, or don't dig, and plus the guy consenting might say, oh, no, I didn't quite tell him to do that. I didn't quite tell him. You need to get a search warrant. That just makes it that much easier and legal. And, if a dog hits on location, any judge give you a search warrant. That's not it. Yeah, I don't know. My
His
wife,
eyes are not
tonight,
closed.
my
He's
eyes
looking
are not
down.
closed. I know what you're saying. I'm facing down at my laptop. I guess I need to raise it up.
No, wait a minute.
Where you can do that.
Look, Lucretia said, is it legal off-road and on? I think that's about being stopped.
Yeah, unless you're on somebody's property. If somebody crosses through your property and, the police come out, they can stop them to find out who it was that went through your property. But because that's reasonable suspicion. But if you're walking down the side of the road and the police stop you, they cannot demand, in America, they cannot demand you for your ID if you haven't done anything.
Okay, Tony said, do you think human remains scent was planted there to steer away from the real burial site?
No, I don't know why. I don't know why the dog didn't alerted on it with nothing there.
Okay.
I don't know, but I don't think that was it. Now, here's one thing. They say, well, she could have been buried there and moved. That's a possibility.
Okay, God's girl said Barry has possible bite marks on his hand, very swollen, possible infection from bite, would need medical attention. The doctor would know if the bite was a human one, right?
Yes, but when was this? When was this? I heard somebody talking saying that they did have swollen hands or whatever. When was this that he had that? Because nobody said. Everybody's saying, I mean, it could have been, if it's recently, she's been missing 3-4 months. It's not going to still be there after 4 months.
It says that thing Barry drives around on, could he possibly place scents there?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. That would be very difficult. And here's my thing is, I think when they find her, if they ever do find her, which the snow's coming, and that's going to have a lot of destroying a lot of evidence when the snow gets here and burying a lot of evidence. I think it's going to be away from here. I don't think it's going to be even close to here. I think it's going to be like, 30, 40 miles from here, I think. Because, I mean, why would you, especially, I mean, you got the time period that anybody could have done this was the time she got off the phone. Immediately after that, all the way to the police were called. They could have taken the body anywhere. It's just a remote area. Sometime it may be that she may be found. I don't think before the snow falls, unless somebody comes forward with some evidence.
Okay. Russell wants to know, how do cadaver dogs hit same spot and find nothing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. There are false positives. Sure, there are false positives. We used to take our drug dogs, and this is why I say it could have been a positive and then moved. We used to take marijuana, for instance, or cocaine, put it up under a floor mat of a car for 5 or 6 hours, then take it out as trained, take it out from underneath that floor mat and leave that truck for a month. And that dog was still alert on that spot. So, you got to wonder if the scent of that, how long it would stay on the ground. But now you got to think about this too. When a dog trains for drugs and anything, cadaver dogs or anything, they do occasionally have false positives. But you think about that. These dogs hit on 3 different sites. 3. One was a passive alert on the wall next to the river at that house. And this is my problem with that site. That site was not excavated the way I understand. They did not take down the rock wall. They did not do anything out there except for talk to the handler of the dog and get an idea of how the dog reacted. If I was them, I would carry my own dog out there. Carry your own cadaver dog, a police cadaver dog, or somebody that they use religiously. The K9, maybe FBI has one. Let them run that dog over there and see if the dog gives a passive alert even to that spot or possible alert to that spot. Then they need to do it. But it's like the guys from Profiling Evil said. Andy has a GoFundMe page with about $18,000 in it. He had enough money to pay somebody to put that rock wall back just like it was when they took it apart. But they felt like they needed to go a little bit extra on that alert, passive alert. Go down and pull that rock wall out and make sure that they didn't find anything. So, I believe that, I don't know why, unless, and this is my only consideration, unless the police know something, that know where she is or have a good idea where she is, or possibly discovered some remains in their dig over there the first time they did it at that house, or, I don't know. It's almost like the police said, these are amateurs. So what if they found something like chasing a needle in a haystack? You know, why should we take the extra effort? That's what it seems like to me. Now, it may not be. And listen, I'm going to tell you, I hate talking ill of a police department. I hate it. But I just don't feel like that enough was done on these locations.
Two things. Russell said maybe there was somebody out there killing people and putting bodies out to throw them off or something, and they didn't dig enough maybe. And then Lucy said, what are the chances of 3 dogs getting it wrong?
Yeah, and also I saw Lori, you said that if I read the press release that they did use their own dogs. No, if you read it, it doesn't say they used their own dogs. Go back and read it. If I'm wrong on that, correct me, but I don't think I am. I don't. If somebody's got that press release, if they could post it in the notes or send me a copy of it again, or go to Facebook and look it up. If I go right now, I'm gonna take this software I have won't let me go right now and look at it. But it said that what I read said we used the dog that alerted on the wall again. I didn't see that they used their own dogs.
Paula Potter said, wouldn't Ellie have retraced all of Barry's steps based on his GPS from his truck?
Well, I think the GPS on the truck is not as good as a one you wear on your side, like a GPS on a phone. Even a phone, GPS on cars and even on a phone does not tell you like military GPS that can tell you like within inches of something where something is. It's just not that accurate. They don't want it. The military does not want it to be that accurate. I mean, they'll tell you within 100 yards or 200 yards is where something is, or maybe even 300 yards. But the military is not going to let us have GPS that will down to the actual spot. I don't think. Your coordinates will get you in that area.
Okay, and explain again about dogs don't hit on animals.
Yeah, a cadaver dog will not hit on an animal. It's trained to hit only on the human decomposition. And if you look, if they train a lot of these dogs at the body farm in Tennessee and other places, or they'll get material from a decomposing flesh and they'll train them with that. But they're not going to hit on an animal, because what a decomposing human, believe me, a decomposing human has got a smell all its own. Anybody that's ever smelled a decomposing human will tell you 100% it's a different smell than an animal, a dead animal.
Okay, and another question was, do they have trauma dogs?
Trauma dogs? You mean like dogs that will deal with people that have trauma? Yes.
Yeah.
You know, they have sight dogs and everything too. As far as smell goes, they have bomb dogs, they have drug dogs, they have cadaver dogs, they have dogs who can tell if somebody's alive in a rubble too. They can, I guess, I don't know if they're picking up the scent of of some human being down there or whatever. I know we use tracking dogs, drug dogs, bomb dogs, cadaver dogs in a situation where somebody's missing. That's why they can take one across a pond, and if a body's underwater, that they do have some air bubbles that come up for the decomposing body, and a dog can smell that right on top of the water.
All right, Lori said the dog, I guess she looked it up, private dogs.
Private dogs, yeah. The dogs that were used privately, and I'm not sure how why the FBI did not, or CBI did not get a dog that they used and it has testified in trial, say in Colorado trials, or testified in FBI type cases, because those dogs that they use, they need to have somebody that's already had courtroom testimony that dog's been declared kind of like an expert in his field with his dog, so that when they did find a body, then they could bring that person to trial and it'd be easier to declare them an expert witness.
Tony said that's how they got Chad. I guess by the GPS.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the GPS on his truck, they said, Andy said the GPS on his truck did not match what Barry said it did. And that, they may have something done with that. But one thing too that I've always said is that's not the only vehicle he had. He had several work trucks, and a lot of that work trucks may not have had that stuff on them,
Yeah, those dogs are amazing. They've got labs now detecting cancer.
Yeah, that's right. They've got dogs that can detect disease in people, cancer in people, and where they go up and smell of you and just kind of put their head up against you and smell of you. So, that dogs are, I think they said a dog's sense of smell is like 450 times more than a human. But the best way I can tell you about a dog smell, and this is what I was told by when I went to one of my drug schools, they were talking about a dog. These drug people will wrap like marijuana and cocaine. They will wrap it one dryer sheets, they will wrap it in plastic, then they'll put mustard in it, they'll wrap it, and then they'll put another sheet of plastic, and they'll wrap like baby powder and another sheet of plastic and ketchup, and thinking they can deter that scent, but they don't understand. A dog smells the plastic, the dryer sheet, the mustard, the ketchup, the baby powder, the plastic again. A dog smells every one of those scents individually. So it does not matter. That's why, and I'll just say, that's why I used to get these briefs when I was in narcotics. Every day there's seizures across the United States, and they would tell how people hide their drugs. And they had these, if you go in a parking lot and you pull up your car up and you put your wheels against those concrete barriers, those little concrete things that sit in every parking lot in America, they sit there. And what they were doing, they were hiding cocaine inside a PVC pipe inside of one of these concrete things, but there were hundreds of them, and they discovered there because a dog alerted them that. So okay. That's amazing.
Lucretia said, did you check the video yet, Thomas? Duty Ron's?
No, I did not, and I apologize for that. I have had a bad headache all day, and I just didn't feel like doing anything. I will look at that, though, tomorrow. Duty Ron's, yeah, I understand that. I will look at that, I promise. He did trade his truck, they said, which I don't know. That's kind of weird. He traded his truck, and I'm wondering if the police did not go to whoever he traded it to and try to get, I just can't understand why they didn't take his truck, or maybe they already have and they looked over everything, But somebody said, or one of the videos, that he did trade his truck. He's doing a lot of this stuff. I don't understand that either, though. If my wife was missing, the last thing I'd really want to do is buy a bunch of land and sell a bunch of land and buy new trucks and swap trucks and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it may be okay, but it just, I don't care. 4 months wouldn't be nothing. Like I said before, I'd be out before the media every day. The last thing on my mind would be buying property or swapping trucks. Knoxville shelter, yes, absolutely. We love our animals. They're one down here in my feet. She's a whiny tonight too. What's wrong with these men? I do not know. Not all men are like that, though. We know that. Maybe he is doing. The weird thing about, though, we had a couple of people that sent me emails and they actually commented at the bottom of my thing. One was a Mr. Porta Potty guy, and another one was, I don't remember exactly, and one other were two female names. And one of them said, why should he? I was complaining because he didn't let the searchers in his place. Why should he let searchers in? And I said, well, why don't he let Barry in and Andy in with a couple of searchers? And you know what? He did that. So I'm wondering if I was talking to Barry on these things. You know, you got to wonder, because, he could come on here and use a different name and I wouldn't even know it. I've asked a bunch of them, are you Barry? And they say not so nice things to me, but they do.
Somebody asked how, I think it was Lucretia, yes. I think somebody asked how old Trevor was.
I'm not sure how old Trevor is. Young. They're trained to use by us and do some extensive training in various places. Bodies around 15 feet deep. Wow, 15 feet deep. I don't think they went that bad. One thing is, can you pick up the pooch?
I'm trying.
One thing is, the guy that had the picture in the last video, he's with his camera and he's really adjusting it and he's taking a picture down towards the hole. Everybody said, well, what is he taking a picture of? I'd like to know that too. I don't know exactly. Maybe because if I was just taking a picture to show, hey, the hole's empty, click, I don't know. It just looked really strange.
Somebody said that 99% of the men are okay. And Russell said, ask my wife, I'm the 1%.
We all like to think so, Russell.
No.
What?
99% of the men are all right.
Okay.
But the 1%.
Okay. Well, I hope I'm in the 99% that are okay.
Sometimes it takes him a while, y'all.
Yeah, it does that. We would ask you to please, if you're watching this video and you'd like it, to give it a thumbs up. And if you would subscribe, we are trying to reach 5,000 subs by the end of the year. We are slowly getting there. But I do appreciate everybody. I do appreciate the people that have decided to do Patreon. We also appreciate every one of you anyway. No matter what, you're all my family on here. We do have about 70% people that watch this video do not subscribe. And I just ask you if you could please subscribe, share this video with your friends. The more people we have on here, the more eyes we have on these people we're looking for. And maybe somebody somewhere knows something. That's what I say. Somebody knows something. But we do need to try to put our heads together and research the people that are out here and find out. I want you to take that picture of Trevor. Take the picture of his friend that's been floating around. Thank you very much, Jada. I appreciate it, Jada. Thank you very much. And I want you to look.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's a very pretty girl. Thank you, Jada.
She's got a case missing from Marysville. Okay.
Do me a favor,
Jada,
send me an email with her name, and I promise you that I will look into it. We may cover that Friday. If you can send me a picture, send me an email is right. Let me get my finger right. The email is right at the bottom of my screen, the missing live stream at gmail.com. If you could send me the information or just her name, I will look it up and find out what I can on it, and we will sure put it out there Friday, if you can do that for me. Missing for 15 years. Wow. That's the kind of thing where you look back at this and you say, somebody's been missing, and you just think a mama and a daddy and probably brothers and sisters are wondering every day that where they're at, and you just got to wonder, you got to bring that up to light, that every once in a while you need to bring it up to light, because, somebody out there may be feeling guilty about something. And that's what we can hope for in the Suzanne Morphew case, that somebody out there will feel guilty about it, or maybe they will be scared that they're fixing to go to prison for the rest of their life, and they will tell somebody something. And, we can hope that the person that did this to Suzanne gets a conscience, that they can't sleep, that it just wears them down, you know. Thank you, Jada. I really appreciate that.
And maybe we can shine some light on it.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, I think that there's way too many people out here that are missing. And, you know, I go to NamUs a lot, maybe two, 3, 4 times a week. And I look at it, and now out of all the cases that are missing, 75%, 80% are runaways, and they will be back. They will be found. In fact, I was going to feature this case, and if some of you watched my channel, earlier in the day, I actually had a thumbnail up about a case out of Ohio, a girl, and right now I can't remember her name, but she went missing in early this month, and just disappeared off the face of earth. They found her car in a church parking lot. Well, she was found like 5 days later. She was found. My dog is weird. 5 days later, she was found. Guess what? She met somebody online and went off with them. And I guess after everybody started freaking out, she got scared that they were going to be mad at her, I guess. And it was a few days before that she came back and said, hey, I met this person online and this is what happened. That predicament, that ended good. That ended with her not being dead or not being kidnapped. Yeah, it was Maddie Bale. Yeah, Maddie Bale. Madison Bale, I think was her real name. She went by Maddie Bale. That she was just found. I mean, they had done everything. They had done foot signs. The FBI was involved. The police were involved. They were everything. And then, boom, she turns up safe. In which we're not saying, hey, I'm saying that's great. Praise God. She's safe. She's not dead. But that is not to say we have so many others just because she was turned up safe doesn't mean we need to forget about all these others, they'll come back, because you know, 75% I think were runaways, 5% were people that basically want to be missing on their own, and you know, but the other 20% or so, you know, that's a lot of people who go missing that they don't even know what happened, disappear off the face of the earth. Let me put this up there, Jada. I'm trying to get over kind of ready to say it. It saddens me. I've learned about it too long ago and cannot believe that her daughter is 18 years old and still has no clue what happened to her. The mother is a case that really bothered me. Well, I will sure look into that. Anytime, you know, every person that's missing is important.
That's right.
You know, they are important. But if you look, the ones that truly get the media attention, you know, and even just, I covered a couple of girls, one girl in particular that went missing on a mountain. And everybody's, you know, I got a little flack from that saying, well, why didn't you cover her? She's not a true missing person. Well, we don't know that. You don't know that somebody didn't take her off that mountain. But somebody, if some mama's home, some daddy's at home, and they're wanting to know where their daughter is, they deserve just as much attention as the next person. We are definitely going to cover as many as possible, you know, but at the same aspect of it, we still want to stay on the Morphew case because I'm not willing to let that thing go cold. I felt so sorry for Andy. I mean, I felt so sorry for him. I mean, tears were shed last night on his interview with Profiling Eagle, and I felt for him. I really did. You know, it made me want to write him a card and tell him, hey, we're here for you. I don't care if he ever comes on my program or not. That's not what it's all about. I just want to keep Suzanne face in the news as well as everybody else. That's why we are continuing on.
Jada said that she knows who had something to do with it. And so if we put it out there and get it going, get the information.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it out there, absolutely.
Hey, maybe put some pressure on him.
If anybody in the family would like to come online, I'll try to make that happen. It's
okay.
But regardless, either way, we will feature it.
You've gotten several people's names on your feed tonight, and I've asked them to send the name and any information they have to your email so that we can look into it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We will highlight as many as we can.
Yes.
Everyone
please.
knows something.
Everybody, someone knows something.
Yes.
That's my thing. Someone knows something. Send me an email. I read every email. I promise you I do. I try to respond to every email. Sometimes sometimes it doesn't call for a response, but I try to respond at least a couple words. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for sending this to me. Send me an email. I promise you I will look into them. Only thing where I will not feature them, and it's because I don't want to get mixed up in a criminal trial. If there's one that's missing and they've known that they're dead and they've been found, then I'm not going to jump into that and get involved in that, because we might bring up some information that is disruptive to the trial. Now, if they've been missing 15 years and you say, well, we can assume they may be deceased, I'm still going to feature those people, because they're not, it's not 100% that it was a homicide, but we're going to still put it out there. The ones I don't want to do is the body's been found down so-and-so, and now we need to figure out who did it, because you can really get messed up in something. Once this, say Suzanne's body was been recovered, at that point we would need to back off, wait for the thing to go to trial. Now you can cover the trial, but if there hadn't been an arrest yet, I don't think you need to be going ahead talking about things that might muddy the water for the jury.
Hey, I don't know if you guys have been watching the news. Well, if you get your news from somewhere besides the main news channels, ABC, NBC, and all, but the U.S. Marshals have rescued more children. I think there was 29 more rescued in the past couple of days.
Yeah, I would agree that there is some evidence that he may be, or whoever did this is going to be a sociopath. There's no doubt there. One thing you can do is to, if you'll send me an email, send me some information if you have it. If not, I will do my due diligence and try to look it up and find out as much as I can. And if I can't find any more, I might hit you back up and say, hey, I'm having difficulty. That was like the Carly Geis case. It was tough to find information on that case. It was like pulling teeth. I don't know why, but it just is. But I want you to share with me information if you can. Now, if you have information about a case that you want to get to law enforcement, send me the information and I will pass it on to law enforcement. I've already passed some information on to the FBI and the Leah Cabot case. It turned out, I don't think, to be correct, but we passed it on anyway. And I will pass on other information and as it comes across. Does Barry have access or own or access to an old Jeep? I don't know. I haven't heard anything if you did. It'd be easy to find one if you needed one. Why do you say that, Tony? If you could lighten us about that. Is an old Jeep been seen, or somebody fill me in on that, because I'm not aware of what y'all are talking about. The question is right here. Does anybody know what, Tony, could you tell me why you asked that question?
Donna Serafina.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not aware of that, what you're talking about, Tony. I apologize. Yes, please. Donna Stefanino, can you look that up for me?
Okay. Let me see what I can find.
I saw a Jeep photo today in a garage, not sure where it was.
Psychic.
Does a psychic say that the Jeep was involved?
Okay, got you.
Is that what you're saying? You know, we talked about this the other day, me and my wife did, about psychics. I don't know much about them, never have. I tend to deal on evidence, you know, hardcore evidence. John steals from the safe. The safe was open. I have a video of John stealing from it. You know, that sort of thing. I'm not sure about that. I really am not. I'm not aware of anything.
I do believe that God gives people wisdom that comes only from Him. Just like there's a place in the Bible where the king knew everything the enemy was going to do before he did it. And the enemy said, who is telling the king? We've got a traitor in the camp. Who's telling the king what I'm doing? And they said, God is revealing to the king. Nobody, you don't have a traitor. So I'm not going to say I believe in psychics, but I do believe that God gives you dreams and visions. And sometimes people just know.
Yeah, I guess that explains it. I just have not.
You're funny.
I just have not had any psychic tell me anything that I've ever found out to be true. Maybe if somebody would, then yeah, that's the Holy Spirit. That's correct. Exactly. You know, I don't.
Exactly, Nate.
Exactly. I don't know. You know, I know one thing. It's hard for me to look at people that put down tarot cards and tell about a case. It's hard for me to even watch that because I just don't know if that is, you know what I mean? I don't know about that because I've never, you know, I've seen so much fake stuff taken. I've seen a lot of people in a lot of cases in the past, big cases, missing people, where so-called psychics will say that this person is there and get the people's hopes up and families' hopes up of finding their person alive, and then they find out that they've been murdered or something happened, and all of that stuff was junk. Now, I'm not saying that all psychics are that way. Please don't. Look, I don't know about this stuff. This is something that I just don't know about. If they could say, okay, this person that's got psychic powers has led to the arrest of this person, this person, this person, just like and I'm not saying they're dogs, but just like a dog would do on a drug case, then it tends to make me believe that maybe, you know, maybe something's going on, you know?
Okay, well, with that said...
Okay, Psychic Donna accurately described how Ty Lee and JJ were killed in detail. Okay, I would need to go back there and actually read that because I just don't want... I don't want to sit here and beat a dead horse, but I just don't... I've never had one prove it to me. I will go back. If you would tell me what case was that you were talking about? The two children that were buried? Is that the two children that were buried out there? What I seem to say, and I'm not, look, don't get mad at me over this. I'm just trying to explain how I feel. Sometimes I find psychics, when they describe how people are killed, are so vague that I could tell you, and I'm no psychic. I could say, well, somebody was beat to death, and you'll find a concussion on the boy, and the girl had bruises on her ribs. Well, you know, if somebody's beat to death, they probably have all that. So I just want to know, you know what I mean? I want to hear, I want to see. Okay, go. I will look this up when we get off here. Please go watch it. Her video is January 31st. Okay, what's her name again?
Are those the two?
Are those the two kids that were buried?
The mother.
The so-called God, a woman that called herself God and went to Hawaii. And is that the two kids you're talking about? Told us what happened back in February. Turns out she was correct. All right, it was that. Are you talking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Who? Can you give me her? Did you say her name earlier? Did you write down the name?
I didn't write it down, but it's on it's on our feed.
I don't know that I can go back.
Yes. Yeah, we can. You have to wait till it's posted, but you can.
Can you tell that name again so she can write that down for me? The psychic's name. Donna. Did the police use her information?
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Did the police use her information? Do you know? Psychic Reverend?
Kathy says you won't be impressed.
Okay. Well, I'll watch it anyway.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say is when we were adopting our daughter from South Korea, my parents told my husband that they were going to have to put me in a mental institution if we didn't get her, because I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that we were going to get her. I had prayed for this little girl from the time I was 12 years old. I knew she was coming. I closed my eyes at night to go to sleep, and I would see her running at me with those arms opened wide. And I just kept telling them to leave me alone. Don't talk to me about not getting her. If you can't be positive, don't talk to me. I don't want to hear it. And on December 15th of 1982, we got our 7-month-old daughter from South Korea. I was right. I trusted God.
Well, that's right. But you didn't have psychic powers, did you?
No, I had dreams and visions though.
Okay. Well, I'll look at it. And look, here's the way I look at it. Believe what you want to believe. You know, that's what's great about America. Believe what you want to believe. Thank you again, Jada. I really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for the email too. And listen, you don't have to send money to get me to look at anything. Please don't think that. I will look in, I promise.
No, you don't have to send us money. We're not doing it for that.
I do appreciate it though.
Yes.
Every little bit helps, believe it or not. But we really appreciate everybody here. But here's what I'm going to say, okay? If you don't believe in psychics, it doesn't make you right. And if you do believe in psychics, it doesn't make you right. You have a right to believe what you want to believe. That's like, that's why I get some hate mail when I mention anything about God. And I tell these people, look, it's okay. You don't have to believe in God. That's up to you, If you're right, then hey, I'm just worm dirt when I die. If I'm right and you're wrong, guess what? But, hey, it's just, Okay, curious. You said I'm psychic too. No psychic will be able to find Suzanne this week despite their visions. No reward has been claimed for solving or finding a body. You're right. So you're psychic. Have you got anything to tell us about this? Or are you just saying that in jest? I would love for someone to say that. Did this girl, the girl that's talking about the Jeep, that's psychic, has she said where the body's at, or if there is a body, or or anything about it? I know that they had this remote viewing guy did give a location. I'm not sure if that location was checked or not. Nobody's pushing religion on anybody, okay? You believe what you want to believe. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a perfect guy up here. I'm not going to try to do anything. If you want to believe anything you want to, that's your business. We're not here to preach. Sent me an email with the reading link. Okay, good. I'd love to to see it. She thinks Barry was the killer. Okay. Did she give a reason?
Well, I want y'all to understand something. We don't want to push anything on you, and you're not pushing anything on us. Both of us love our Father in heaven. Both of us know where we're going when it's done, and we are not afraid to talk about him. And so if we offend you, we're sorry, but we cannot deny him.
Search, anybody want to search? Let me know. Well, that'd be pretty good. The only thing is, if I honestly believe, though, that she is, I don't think she's going to be found once the snow falls, and they've already had a good snowfall.
Thanks, Beecham.
Thank you, Beach Bum. I love the name, Beach Bum. We were almost beach bums for about 20 years. We lived on the Gulf Coast. But thank you very much. I do appreciate that.
Okay, Half Fast says, Curious George, there is no reward for her body, only for her safe return. So Barry won't ever have to pay it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good idea.
I mean, that's what I thought the first time I heard that is, I mean, I could offer $1 million if I know the body's if she's not going to be found alive. Really. You can, I mean, if you knew that she was not going to be found alive, you can offer $100 million. And that, I know, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm just wondering if he did look at that remote viewing site that the guy, I don't know what to think about that. I know the military, you know, uses him. Thank you, Ms. Homestead. I wish I could, Kate, how do you pronounce that?
I don't see it.
Kate Cooling. I'm afraid I'll butcher that if I do. Even though you're one of my moderators, I still butcher that if I do. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and you know, just because the 700 people didn't find her, it's just because they weren't looking in the right spot.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you very much, Nate. I do appreciate that, Nate.
Grief.
Thank you very, very much.
Listen, we do not take for granted when somebody does that. We appreciate it because we know times are tough. It's hard to make ends meet. We appreciate it.
We do appreciate everything y'all to give us. And we
Please
do appreciate
don't ever feel like you have to.
No, I don't want you to ever feel like you have to. I appreciate that very much, Nate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay. Aldo Cat said, why did Barry offer a large reward at the same time his nephew opened a GoFundMe account? Good question.
Well, they claimed that the GoFundMe account was going to be used to search for her.
Oh, Elizabeth, thank you.
Yeah, Elizabeth, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. One thing the sheriff said on his, thank you, Elizabeth. I do appreciate that. One thing the sheriff said on his press release is kind of confusing to me, though. He said there's been over 104 searches. That's what he said. Go back and read that, because that was very confusing to me. Where had they searched? Because they said they searched the first time around the house. They did search one other time, but I also read in there that they haven't done a search. They have not done a search since the middle of July. So where have the 104 searches been? If somebody could pull that press release up and look at that and make sure that I'm correct, but after I read that, I was just really confusing to me. Where have all these searches been? You know, I understand them putting out something, hey, we're not forgetting about this case, where we've interviewed all these people.
Sassy Cat said they needed the GoFundMe account to purchase wigs and bikes and stuff like that.
And maybe a new truck. No, I didn't say that. But somebody look at that press release from the Cathy County Sheriff's Department.
Andy Crayons said, I took my money back from that original GoFundMe and reported it. I'm not trying to line Trevor Noel's pockets.
Right. I mean, you know, they're living in a $1.5 million house out there. Barry is $1.5 million, driving probably $100,000 truck, driving, getting all this other kind of stuff. You know, Bobcat cost about $80,000, and other type of equipment. That rig with the Bobcat and the truck and everything probably cost $200,000, and they need a GoFundMe page. You know, I saw right through that to start with. I mean, you know, I didn't. You know, if you're talking about somebody living down there on the side in the projects, having to, or even Andy, you know, he's not doing that. You know. Fourth answer.
And a condo was bought recently? Wow.
Yeah, and he did buy a piece of land, $156,000 lot. That was on Zillow. He bought another thing. Somebody said he bought a you know, a lot of money's been spent. Why did they even need a GoFundMe page? And they're not getting out there and doing it. If he was putting billboards up and down the road and being on the news every night and walking around giving out flyers and doing searches for himself, I'd say, yeah, maybe so. And that's the thing, they're not. But I just want to know, somebody go look at that Sheriff's Department press release for me and see if I got that right. 104 searches. I don't know. Can you go look at that? Can you pull up the Cathy County Sheriff's Department, Colorado?
I don't have my laptop.
I'm pretty sure that I'm correct on that. It's 104 searches, which is kind of confusing to me because I don't think they did that. The GoFundMe is not Barry's. Well, it may not be his, but his family got it. But we're not sure where. We're not really sure where, who's in control of that, and we're not sure where that money's going. You know. Oh, 104 Googles? Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I don't know what they're referring to. I really don't. 104. I mean, that's a lot. I just don't. I don't know. I just that part of that statement was very confusing to me.
It says Suzanne inherited $500,000 when her mom and grandmother died.
Yeah, I heard that.
I hope that money goes to the kids.
I heard the house also was the property. Somebody had reported the property in Indiana had sold. Is that correct, or is not sold? But see, he went and got a power of attorney, this guardianship over her, all of her money, over all of her everything while she's missing. Now he'll have to wait, I think, 7 years before she can be declared dead.
Oh.
But with this guardianship, he can pretty much control everything.
ABD said he thought she put the $500,000 down on the new house.
May have. Here's one thing, and I don't know. You got a $1.5 million house. The landscaping business must be very good. That's all I can say. Because commercial landscaping, I wouldn't think it'd make enough to pay for a $1 million house, but I don't know. You tell me. Is he working anywhere right now? That's what I'd like to know.
You probably don't have to.
Maybe. Well, listen, if you can try this next day, to pick these guys' pictures out that we all think they could be on the bike, and just compare them the best you can next to those pictures and tell me what you think. And all of you that sent in names of missing people, I promise I will go and look them up, and we will put them online. Now, I'm just making that said. Please subscribe if you're watching this later or online and you're not subscribed. And please share. I know that you can. I know that there's a lot of people that you share my videos, because when I said I wanted to be over 1,000 videos, I went to 1,400 within one day.
Okay, listen. The house in Indiana sold for $850,000. Let's see. It does. They said landscaping does pay very well. That's where he's built his wealth. There was something else. Suzanne's inheritance paid for the house. It's not in Barry's name.
Well, I don't know. He's a husband. It could have very well been his name now. I don't think a husband, unless Colorado may be different, but I don't think a husband has got the husband's share of a house. And,
Alabama's what is Alabama?
It's a joint property state. Alabama is if you get married, anything you accumulate in your marriage is 50-50 if you were to split up while you're married.
Well, and also 7 years.
7 years
or
is
married.
Are married. We're a common law state, but
we ain't no common law marriage here.
But
I hooked him.
I know that I read somewhere that most of the time it's 7 years to declare somebody dead.
Okay, Andy says she sent you 4 emails. With all this information pulled this week.
Okay.
Okay, good.
I appreciate it. I do. Who is trolling on me? Yeah. Who do we think's a troll?
I don't know.
Somebody say. I didn't see that. Troll. Somebody said troll leave. I don't know who you're saying is a troll.
I didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. Well, listen, we appreciate you coming tonight. We appreciate everybody. Thanks for all the super chats. We really appreciate it. I sincerely mean that. And we will. In fact, my headache's gone away. How about that?
I told him this is good for you. Also, where's your story for tonight? You could tell him the kidney stone story. Come on.
Poor kidney stone.
You know, when you were on patrol and I got my first one.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you this thing. They're going to think bad of me.
No, they won't think bad of me.
Now, listen, you have to understand, okay? we were slam busy. I mean, slam busy. Okay? I mean, slammed. Did not get to eat all day. I mean, I didn't get to eat nothing.
Bless his heart.
And my wife calls me. We were sitting down to eat. Just got our food. I'm hungry, salivating. My wife calls me. Well, actually, my son calls me.
No, it was me. I called Tommy and I said, hey, I need you to come home and take me to the hospital because I think I'm dying. And on the other end of the line, I hear, well, can I finish my Big Mac first?
I don't think I really meant that.
I said, choke on it and hung up.
I don't think I really meant that. I was just trying to see if she was really.
No, you didn't.
Really
I think I caught you off guard.
She caught me off guard. But I just threw everything in a bag, hopped in my car, and booked it towards the house with the blue lights on siren, and then got out of the car. We ran her to the hospital, and she did have a kidney stone. Now, I've had many. Okay, I've had many. But don't think bad at me because that was a lot of years ago.
That was a lot.
Lots of years ago. But
okay, my hint for tonight is for all of you out there who have children and grandchildren, get you a journal and start journaling to your children. I have 14 journals full of my children's life and my prayers to God for them. And I'll tell you real quick, the cutest story that I remember from just the other day. Not just the other day it happened, but from reading my journal. I was getting ready for church, and Dakota, my son, was about 3 years old. He came into the bedroom and he looked up at me and he said, "Oh, Mommy, you look ravenous." I looked at my 3-year-old with those big brown eyes and I thought, oh no, he's watching way too much Disney. And then I looked at him and I told him, "Thank you, sweetheart." And then I looked at him and I said, "Dakota, what does ravenous mean?" And he looked up at me with that dreamy face and those big brown eyes, and he said, "Fuzzy."
So, so it just is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You don't remember things you can't remember, but she can pull out her journals and read of just some crazy times and crazy things our kids said, and it's hilarious.
Well, it's not only that, but my prayers to God, when I go back and read, there were times in our life and in our marriage and the kids growing up that I could not see the hand of God in our life. And I would cry out to him, and I go back and read it now, and I can always see the heart of God. It was always for me.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you guys.
And I really appreciate it, y'all coming in. Please share our channel, and we are working towards 5,000 by the end of the year. And YouTube does pay me a little bit of money. I'm not getting rich, but it's not coming. It's coming from a multi-billion-dollar company. It's not. You don't have to worry about that. But it's not getting rich. But we do ask that you do subscribe. It does help us all around. Share our channel if you would. We love you.
Oh,
honestly,
Katie makes homemade journals. That is awesome.
That is awesome. We may have to get hooked up.
You have to send me your address,
and
I'll send you some money and get some.
Absolutely. We're always.
I give them out at my store.
She actually does pass them out to young girls, especially if they're pregnant. Please. Yeah, absolutely. I don't need hardly eat Big Macs anymore. They're very fattening, and it brings back bad memories. But please come back Friday, 7 o'clock, and we will look into everything you've sent me. I promise you. And God bless y'all. And I hope y'all have a great tomorrow and a great day tomorrow. And stay well, this COVID thing. And we hope to see you then. And I'm going to go out with my little outro so that I can save this video and everything will work out. See you next time.